money, 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 money.
Hello everybody, Wrestling Figure Mania here, coming at you guys face to face for the first time since my comeback video to talk about my favorite pay-per-view of all time, and that is Money in the Bank 2011. Today is July 17th, 2020, which marks the 9-year anniversary of this pay-per-view. My personal favorite match of all time, as depicted next to me by these wrestling figures, the CM Punk, John Cena, for the WWE Championship match. That is my personal favorite match of all time. Now, a little bit background as to why this pay-per-view means so much to me is back in 2011, when I was first starting to become a wrestling fan, this pay-per-view was in my hometown of Chicago. So I was begging my parents to take me, and we didn't end up going, but we did order it. And that was my first pay-per-view that I ever actually ordered and saw live as it was happening. Not in person, but on the TV. And this pay-per-view, it just means so much to me. So I just wanted to do like a retrospective on it, like a review maybe. I probably won't talk about every match, but I just want to talk about some choice things about this show that I still really love to this day. Now, the opening match is the Money in the Bank for SmackDown. Now, this is the one that Daniel Bryan won, which really launched him to the top, because before that match, he was a mid-card U.S. champion. I remember he was feuding with like Sin Cara and Eddie Guerrero. I remember he wasn't really up to much until he won this match, and that really like skyrocketed him to the top. So this match had Cody Rhodes. It had the 3 out of the 4 members of the core were in it. It had Kane. It had Sheamus, Sin Cara, Daniel Bryan. It had so many stars of SmackDown at the time, like so many young stars that, looking back now, it's almost kind of sad seeing that only maybe a couple of these guys ended up being really big stars. So, but, I mean, it's still a really good match, though. I mean, 2011 for SmackDown was a great year because it was kind of like the last hurrah for the show, because after 2011, they started doing the Super Show, pretty much ended the brand split. But if you go back to, like, Elimination Chamber 2011, and you watch that, the SmackDown Chamber match from that year, you can see the quality of these matches that SmackDown was putting on with their mid-card to top main event level guys. And it's really impressive to this day to look back on those kind of matches. It showed so much promise back then, and it's kind of sad to see that they just kind of squandered away SmackDown, because it could have been, if you let it run for another couple of years, it could have been something so great, but it just kind of ended up not being that. So I kind of feel bad about that, but what can you do about it? Another match I want to talk about is the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match, which had guys like Kofi Kingston. It had The Miz in it. Alex Riley, I think, was in there. Jack Swagger, Rey Mysterio, and Evan Bourne. And I remember back then I was really popping for Rey Mysterio, and he didn't end up winning, but Alberto Del Rio ended up winning this match, which, like, 2011 was a big year for Alberto Del Rio. He won the Royal Rumble, and he won the Money in the Bank. Like, he was so on top of things back then, but he, like, looking back now, like, why was he up there? Like, he was not that good. Like, when he came back to WWE in, like, 2015, he was a mid-card guy. And like, he literally had not improved since 2011. So why did they consider him a top guy in 2011, but not 4 years later when their talent pool was much thinner? It kind of makes no sense to me. But they really were pushing hard for Alberto back then. There's a few very awkward spots in this, like especially the last spot, voice crack, when Rey Mysterio, they were climbing up. Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio unmasks him, pushes him, and then Rey Mysterio, he kind of bungs back, and then, ooh, at the same time, they both crashed down. It was kind of like, no, don't do this. And yeah, it was kind of sad, but this match is not as good as the SmackDown one, but I'd say it's worth the watch. I mean, I don't actually know if it is worth the watch. It's just kind of it's a standard Money in the Bank match. It's like, if I were to rank the Money in the Bank ladder matches, that would be pretty much right in the middle. Like, it's as basic as you could possibly get, minus the botches and Alberto Del Rio being buried under ladders at the beginning. I'd say if you're just looking for something to do, you can't go wrong with it, but also, if you're looking for a good one, you can't really go right with it either. next match I want to talk about is Christian versus Randy Orton. Now, this match was, I was so hyped for this feud back in the summer of 2011. Randy Orton and Christian just did not know how to put on a bad match. They always had such great chemistry. And I remember I was such a big Christian fan, but I was also such a huge Randy Orton fan. I had no idea who to root for in this match. Literally nobody throughout this entire feud, because I was so happy when Christian won the ladder match, Extreme Rules, against Del Rio. And then, like, 4 days later, my favorite wrestler, Randy Orton, beat him, and I was kind of, like, mad. Like, I was really conflicted. But they always put on good matches, and then they finally turned Christian fully heel. And at this point, they had the gimmick was, if Randy Orton gets disqualified, then Christian gets the title. And that's exactly what happened. Christian just kind of egged him on the whole time, and then eventually he spit in Randy Orton's face. Randy Orton, big kick in the nuts. And so yeah, Christian won the World Heavyweight title. I was happy he won it, but it was in the worst way possible. And he immediately lost it at SummerSlam the next month, which, I mean, good for Christian. He's a 2-time World Heavyweight champion, but I mean, his first reign, he won in the best way possible and then lost it in the worst way possible. And then his next one, he won it in the worst way possible, but then he lost it in a great match with Randy Orton at SummerSlam, the no DQ with the RKO on the stairs. Like, that match was nuts. Christian, really not, the only place that really treated him fairly with a good heavyweight championship run was probably TNA, which it kind of sucks that that's just the way it is, but I mean, it's whatever. Still, I mean, like, they had some good moments in this match, though. I still really liked it. Another match that's pretty good on this show was Big Show versus Mark Henry. Not in terms of how good the match was, because it's just kind of a super slow-mo big guy match, but Mark Henry was just starting to get into his Hall of Pain thing, and Big Show, and that match with Big Show was the starting point for it. He did the World's Strongest Slam into the announce table, and then this was the first time when he had the chair under the leg, and then he went and did a Vader bomb onto his leg with the chair in it. Oh, that looked brutal. Like, I mean, how do you fake that, though? I mean, I guess Big Show just has really thick legs, so that's just how it works. But that he did that to Kane, he did that to Kozlov, he did that to Khali. Like, he did it to all these big guys. And that's what really started his big push, like, when he was doing that Hall of Pain stuff. Like, that stuff was great. And he ended up getting a World Heavyweight Championship match out of it. So, and it all started, that starting point was Money in the Bank 2011, that Big Show match. So, I mean, good for him, good for Mark Henry for, you know, using that as a starting point. But other than that, this match was nothing special, honestly. They didn't do much. It was just kind of a standard, I'm going to punch you, I'm going to body slam, and then they went outside. World's Strongest Slam through the table. I think Henry ended up winning by a lot. So, yeah, and I just remember when I was watching this when I was like 8 or 9 years old, or how old was I? Yeah, I was like 9 or 10. So I remember watching that back then and being like, oh, you know, Big Show's the real World's Strongest Man, just because Big Show weighed more than Mark Henry at the time, which I was like, oh, if you weigh more, that must mean you're stronger. You can't fool second grade me. Yeah, no, I was wrong about that. And finally, we've got to the big match here. CM Punk versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. My personal favorite match of all time. And this is the whole reason I did this video, was to talk about this match. Now, this match is so great, and especially in the build-up. So basically what happened was CM Punk, he just went out one day on Raw. I think it was the Raw after Extreme Rules, because he beat Rey Mysterio or no, it wasn't after Extreme Rules, it was after Capital Punishment. He beat Rey Mysterio, and then he's like, I'm the #1 contender, I beat Rey Mysterio. And then the GM was like, no. And then, so, CM Punk, that night, he had a triple threat match with Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio, and then himself. So, it was for the #1 contendership for the WWE Championship. And CM Punk won. Rey Mysterio hit the 619 on Del Rio. CM Punk just threw Rey Mysterio right into the post. That looked like it hurt. And then you just covered Del Rio, 1, 2, 3, and then you get on the microphone. July 17th, 2011, my contract with World Wrestling Entertainment comes to an end. And, oh my God. Oh, what a show. And then I got really excited for that. And then the next week, John Cena was facing R-Truth, and then CM Punk screwed him out of the match, went on top of that stage, sat down, cross-legged, and cut his pipe bomb promo. And John Cena, as you lay there, hopefully as uncomfortable as you possibly can be, I've got a lot of things I want to get off my chest. The pipe bomb promo is probably the most iconic promo cut in the last 15 years. It's really iconic. I mean, CM Punk, he brought so many people back to wrestling. He made WWE like almost cool again. I remember at school people were talking about it, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, nobody talked about wrestling before this. And then Vince McMahon the next week, he's like, CM Punk walks out with the WWE Championship. You're fired. I'm like, what the heck is going to happen? It was in CM Punk's hometown. So this is everything that was going on in this match. CM Punk, whose last day of his contract was Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago in his hometown, right? So he can't lose. But John Cena, if he loses, he's going to be fired. And they're not going to fire John Cena. Why the heck would they do that? So he can't lose. What the heck is going to happen? I was so hyped for this match. So we bought the pay-per-view pretty much just because of the CM Punk match. We bought the pay-per-view. My cousins came over. It was such a great time. And then we watched the show. I was rooting hard for John Cena because I was like 10 and I was a big John Cena fan back then. Yeah, he lost. I wasn't happy about it, but God, watching that match back, it's still every time. It still gets me. CM Punk, they got this great sequence where John Cena hits the STF. CM Punk hooks his arm around, gets him in the Anaconda Vice. John Cena rolls out, hits him with the AA 1-2, and then a kick out at 2. Oh my God, that sequence was so great. They tried at the end to do the Montreal Screwjob. Vince McMahon comes up, ring the bell. John Laurinaitis comes down. John Cena gets him out, and then boom, John Cena in the STF, and then boom, hit him with a clothesline. John Laurinaitis goes up to Vince McMahon. No, you will not. I'm going to end this fight the way that I want to. Gets in the ring, CM Punk up top. GTS 1, 2, 3. My God, what an amazing match. CM Punk, he holds up the championship. Vince McMahon, he goes over to commentary. I don't know, cut the music, cut it. All right, get Alberto out here. We're cashing in. Alberto comes out. Roundhouse kick right to the head. CM Punk, he just looks at him, laughs. He gets the championship, jumps over the barricade, escapes through the crowd. That's the end of the show. My God, that was so great. I mean, wrestling has never felt so real since that show. And then CM Punk put on Twitter the WWE Championship in his fridge. Oh, man. What a show. CM Punk was so great in the summer of 2011. And then he did return 8 days later. After they had this tournament where Rey Mysterio won, and then John Cena pretty much just faced him and then won. And then they had the two champions. The match is SummerSlam. Kevin Nash, Alberto Del Rio cashed in. And then everyone just kind of got sad for a while. CM Punk wouldn't win the championship again until Survivor Series in November. But I think if they just carried it so that if he won the match at Money in the Bank, and then he had they just carried that through. His big 434-day title reign was extended a bit, where it lasted from Money in the Bank 2011 all the way until Royal Rumble 2013 with The Rock. That would have made it even more iconic. I mean, you won it in the best way possible instead of just this fluke match with Del Rio at Survivor Series. You could skip all that stuff with Kevin Nash. You can skip John Cena winning it and then losing it, and then Alberto Del Rio losing it and winning it again. Like, you could skip all that nonsense. Just have CM Punk winning at Money in the Bank, carry it through Survivor Series, carry it through 2012, and then lose it to The Rock then. That would make it like a lot longer. Like, that would make it like almost like 700 days long, and it would probably make it like the most iconic reign of all time instead of what we ended up getting, which was, I mean, it's still an iconic reign, but like, think of what it could have been. Anyway, guys, so that's all I really have to say about Money in the Bank 2011. It's a great show. If you have not watched this show in its entirety before, today is the day to do it. Today is July 17th. It's the 9-year anniversary, so you better get on that. it's a really good show. So anyway, guys, if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment below if you want to see more of these in-person videos. I'm Wrestling Figure Mania, and I'll see you guys next time.